The migration network, in my mind, is truly the backbone of what Hawkwatch is.
It's the pulse or the heart rate. So you go to the doctor, the first thing that they do, right, is they don't run a bunch of MRIs or X-rays or anything like that. They take the pulse.
The Migration Network is a network of migration monitoring sites where we monitor raptors scattered throughout Western North America.
It's this early warning system for when something is changing, whether that's the timing of migration, whether it's the number of species that are migrating, and then it allows us to take a deeper look at actual individual species populations.
These are long-term sites where we have crews of people that basically are on site for a fixed time each year, year after year, counting the same way in the same place. So if we keep coming to that same place, we can say what's happened over the last 30 years in terms of the overall number of raptors that we've counted. And so these long-term counts don't explain why, we might see an increase or a decrease, but they show it that it's there. And that's the power of not only just one migration site, but a network and then partners that have other sites too.
By studying raptors on migration, it's the most efficient and certainly the most cost-effective way to really get a grand landscape approach of understanding population dynamics.
Hawkwatch International's network is unique in that it's probably the largest single operator supported run standardized network in North America and probably the world.
The network itself is so valuable as a unit, right? One of those sites alone could be valuable, but having all 7 of them together really creates a huge impact for the data collection on migration populations.
There's no replacement for the network because that's data you can't go back and collect. You either collect it this fall or that data is gone forever.
You can spread those channels more on the down. Banding is a component of the work that we do that has been around since the beginning. So it is an integral part of the work that we do. We don't do it at all of our migration sites, and there's various reasons for that. It might just be the geography or logistics. But it is important work, and banding is a tool that's been around for over 100 years, and it's been used at the basic level to learn about the survival and movement of birds.
We want to know where the birds that we're counting go and where they're coming from. Banding birds is one of the old, reliable ways to try to do that. And we've been doing that with go shoots since the 80s and in a lot of our sites since the mid-90s. And so it's essentially, we catch the bird, we really quickly take it in and collect some data from it. How large is it? What kind of fat stores does it have in different places? Can we get an age on it? And then we put a band on it with a unique number. And then we send it on its way.
Each year we have crews of 3 to 5, depending on the site, who are out there every single day who are monitoring these raptors. And so there's a huge number of folks who've been impacted through doing the work.
The flip side of all those long hours of work that the crew put in is that they're technically volunteers. They're here for the experience. They're here because they love raptor migration. They love the outdoors. They're doing this for a cost of living, a per diem, and they're putting in loads of hours. And we wouldn't be able to have this long-term data set without this legacy of people year after year after year that have dedicated and given their time to do this.
Wow, that is so cool.
Counting migrating birds might seem a little simple, but in its entirety is actually very complex. An individual might not seem like much, but when you put that individual in the scope of thousands and hundreds of thousands of migrants that travel through North America every year, you see this larger picture of the importance of migration as well as conservation.
The value of the data is so immense. It's because of Hawkwatch sites like this that we even have, peregrine falcons in the sky. They would have been completely wiped out by DDT had it not been for sites counting them each fall and understanding that their numbers are declining.
Raptor migration is one of the biggest challenges a raptor faces. Like, most of them don't make it into their second year of life. So we're watching them on like one of the most difficult journeys of their lives. So like being able to experience that, it's incredible. Like there's no other feeling.
One of the best parts of the network to me is the camaraderie that it builds. When you find this small group of like-minded people who are just as passionate as you are, and then you get to spend time with them and learn from them or mentor someone else who's really young and just starting in the field, it's a really wonderful experience.
We tout, and our goal for this migration network is to have all the sites be a place of learning and sharing, and that's the spirit that we're working towards.
There's such a long legacy of people who this place has touched so deeply. It's really so special to get to share in that. And I get to share that with, hundreds of other people before me, really.
Some of the rocks up on observations are pretty comfortable. And someone made the comment that they've been polished by 35 years of hawk watchers' butts. And it's like, it's kind of a funny way of putting it, but it's like, 20 years before I was even born, like, people were up here doing what I'm doing now, watching the same birds fly by, and like getting to participate in that is, it's really cool.
I meet people regularly who ask the question, why should I care about the environment? Why should I care about all of these big issues? Studying the natural world and learning more about it and learning how humans can interact with it in a positive way instead of a negative way is really important to me, and that's a really large picture way to look at it. But when you study one component of that larger picture, such as raptor health and behavior and ecology, you're giving a little back to the entire picture and seeing how you can contribute in some small way to making it better overall.
These birds we're sharing the planet with them, and just like the Dr. Seuss books will say, like, they can't speak for themselves. We've certainly screwed a lot of things up in the world and continue to do that as humans. We're really good at that. So I think it's our responsibility to look at the other side of that and think about how we can make the world a better place, not just for humans, but also for these animals that we share the world with. And the world would be a sad place without nature.